There we go. Okay, perfect. So, first, what I want to say is welcome to the channel, bro. How you doing today, man?
I'm great. I appreciate you having me up here today. I feel really good today. It's an honor to actually be here.
That's good, of course, man. Like, yo, so first of all, you guys, before we introduce him and everything, I just want to say this is my go-to guy for Santeria. Like anything that has to do with Santeria or the Orishas, like I would literally go to him. We became really, really cool and very close-knit, like quickly. It was very funny because he was confirming a lot of things that were going on between me and my girl, and it was legit. So when he said everything that was going on, he kind of was saying it as if he was just seeing it playing out, but it was exactly what was happening to us, almost as if he was predicting what was going to happen. So it was really fucking impressive to me. And then over time, like as we kept talking, we started having so many synchronicities in our lives. So it was just like it was kind of as if it was just meant to happen. You know what I mean? Even down from the to the point of he is a musician. I was also a musician. So it's literally like we have very similar paths, but he took it a lot further than I decided to do because I wanted to choose my spirituality first. Okay. And he's been working on a lot of stuff. He has a ton of shit that he just does when he writes his lyrics and everything. He has some good ass music. Like hopefully in the future we can definitely get a sample and hear some of his stuff because it's pretty dope. For me,
Absolutely,
I've heard some of it.
absolutely.
Um, so yeah, go ahead, man, and just introduce yourself. Let them know who you are.
Oh, my name is Juju. Well, I go. My name is Dorian, but a lot of people call me Juju. That's more so my music name. I do music. A little bit about how I kind of got into the path. Like as a young child, probably like 8, 7. I always had like a interest for magic, so I will always incarnation of him, and he kind of like went crazy. So I kind of understood why my mom kind of protected me at a young age from kind of staying away from it. But I started to research at a young age a lot about things. Mentally, I was doing things, and I didn't really kind of know that I was doing these things. And as time went on, it was building up a mental foundation of manifesting, and I didn't kind of know that, but I was seeing things happen. So it was at a young age it was like installed in me. But as I kind of got older, I ran into one of my close friends, Charles Miller the third. He's a retired professor from Yale University, and back in like 2012 or probably 10, where a lot of things started to actually happen, where I started to like see things and hear things and kind of like
Yeah, like
notice them.
clairvoyance and yeah, your claircognizant abilities became active. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, at a young age it was like it was starting to tune in, and I was kind of like thought I was bugging for a minute, and then I started to come into a lot of information with like extraterrestrials around like the music and stuff like that. And that
Yeah.
was kind of the catalyst of me like spiritually coming into the information. I say it's the starter kit information, because when you first start off, you start researching the music industry and the
Yeah.
demons, stuff like that, and
Yeah,
aliens,
of
and
course.
then you go back to the government. So it was like that thing. But I kind of ran because I don't know. I don't want to just keep going on. I'll let you interject whenever, because I wanted to
Yeah, of course.
like be structured and like let you come on. But
Yeah.
I ran into my spiritual godmom, and she was a close friend at first, and she was like someone who was teaching me a lot about Santeria and things like that. And
Hmm.
it was so funny because when I first met her, she was a client of mine. I did a reading for her and helped her in a situation.
It's
And
funny
at
how
that
that plays
time,
out, huh?
yeah, at that time, it's funny because at that time, and I have to mention Spica, the mother star. She was a lady who taught me to do tarot card readings, and she's a Capricorn like me. It's so funny because we clicked instantly how me and you clicked. It was like I got a reading from her, and our friendship was like, it was so like, it was normal that like we knew each other. And
It was
I looked at
powerful,
her
yeah.
as yeah, another mother, and she taught me how to do readings. And we stayed on New Year's when it hit 12 o'clock, and we did a reading for a reading all the way up to 8 o'clock that next day on the phone. And she was
Oh
helping
wow.
me and teaching me how to like really mold and get more accurate information and tune in.
Yeah.
And as I started to like do the cause with that, I ran into my spiritual godmom, who was a client first. That's how I had to track back that so it could make sense.
Yeah.
And she was going through a situation, and I helped her. And years later, I was in all of this like this chaos, and I needed a saving. And the girl that I was
Yeah.
hanging with, ironic, was her daughter's best friend. And she was like,
Huh.
"Oh, Hannah's mother, was asking about you." And when I came back to her, she was so evolved way past me, like shit that I was like so not in the knowing of. Like her magic was,
Yeah.
she had a business called Three Keys of Magic,
Hmm.
and she was so advanced, like to the point where I was looking up to her as the savior now. Like, she
No,
helped.
dude, yeah. I mean, I feel that, dude. I feel like it's crazy because whenever you talk about her, there's such passion that comes from you. But I also feel like she would be proud of this. You know what I mean? I feel like she's proud of you. And I feel like she's happy that you're doing this. I just feel like it was time for you to do this. Because I know you're humble, and I know you like to have your privacy. But I also know for a fact that when I'm getting pushed to do something, I know that it's because there's a spirit that's pushing me to do that. You know what I mean? So I
Right.
feel like there are spirits that are telling me you should get him to come out so he can be able to establish to get his foundation established, to be able to have the ability to even make a living, to be able to thrive. You know what I mean? Because it's
I
time for you
appreciate
to
that.
get to that point of being on that pedestal that you deserve to be on, if that makes sense. You deserve to have your doors open. So that's why I was like, you know what, I really want to bring him on here because I know that it could be super beneficial, and there's information that a lot of people really don't have access to when it comes
Absolutely.
to when it comes to Santeria. There's people who don't even know what that is. So I have a question for you, okay? I
Okay.
didn't mean to interrupt, but I have a question
No,
for you.
it's fine.
All
It's
right.
fine.
So, one of my questions that I would like to ask is, how do you feel about people talking about? How do you feel about people saying that Santeria is for people who are colored
Initiate.
only?
Um, that's a good question. I feel that's a good question because and it goes back to racism, saying like, oh, only a black person can do this because they're black, or braid have cornrows because they're black. However, I do feel things is originated from that source of melanin and things like that. But I think that what connects to people should be for everyone. I don't think it should be uh is for these type of people or that. It just, that's kind of like a childlike mind state to think like that.
Yeah, no, you damn right. You damn right. Because there's so many people who claim to be evolved, who claim to just who claim to just have all this shit going for themselves, but they come at me about initiating into the Qliphoth, or they come at me
Right.
about working with demons and tell me about working with white demons. But it's like, if they're helping me and they're making shit happen for me, why should I give a fuck about what race they are or even what religion they come from? Yes,
Right.
it is a good idea to study into it, you know what I mean? And I do respect the different pantheons that they come from. But if I'm getting results, I'm getting results,
Right.
Like
Mhm.
that's what matters to me at the end of the day. If I'm having a connection with them and there's a bond and I'm getting results, that's what matters. Just like if someone was to come forward and be like, I really feel connected to the Egyptian pantheon. There's a lot of white folks that feel connected to the Egyptian pantheon. There's a lot of
Right.
Mexicans who feel like they're connected to it as well. And there's a ton of black people too. That doesn't mean that it's just limited to one race. That doesn't mean it should be limited to that at all. And boils down to, even when you ask the spirits about who they prefer to work with, they don't give a fuck. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Every spirit that I've talked to, when I've asked them this question, especially when it came down to King Paimon, you know, I'll ask him like, okay, how do you feel about all of this shit that's being said about you being a white demon, or you being a demon or you being a demon that is choosy when it comes to races? And he was basically just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because people have told me that shit, and I'm just like, I talked to him. I have connected with him. I've asked him those questions, and he's just like, I don't give a fuck. As long as you want something and you want to improve yourself, then I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
help you to fucking improve yourself. If you want to learn psychic defense, then I'm gonna teach you psychic defense, not some stupid ass shit that has to do with something completely different than what I'm going to teach you. You know?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to be. I really appreciate you giving that answer, because there's so many people that get led astray from these people that don't even really give them the real deal.
Yeah, and I feel as though like when it comes to like even with a lot of systems, I do feel like, things have its own structure and things like that. But whatever the spirit, the universe call for a person, I think that you can't stop that for a person. Like in some religions where you can't do certain things or be a certain have a certain type of sexuality and things, and you can't be initiated into certain things. However, that may be the line, but when you go back to it, like when I was in school before, we had to do an essay on these people that was in this village, and people that was born with both masculine and feminine energies inside of them, they was worshipped as like closest to the mother goddess Earth.
Yeah,
But in society, sometimes it's seen as different. So I don't think that things should be based on like color, or it just makes it more confusing to people who don't have a guidance, and they trying to learn things, and then they seeing things and they're saying, well, oh, you can't do it. It makes it hard because then now you just confused and you
yeah,
stagnant. You don't know what to do. So
yeah. No, I definitely appreciate. I like that answer. It's a very well thought out, well put answer. I like that. So I have another question for you. What made you like? When did you know that you were going to start really taking this path seriously?
I knew when I was going to start taking this path serious. I think the first time I started experiencing chi balls, like because when I was younger, a lot of stuff on TV I would watch, and I'm like, I could do that in my head. Like, but I knew that at a time when I was younger, I actually had those abilities to move things. And it's so funny because people may say that it's so far fetched, but it's always those part of the memories that's wiped, or it's a fuzzy feeling when you try to attempt to do that, but it's something in the back recalling that you used to do that. So when
Yeah,
I started to really tap back into that, and I started to see things happen and stuff like that, and when the effect that I had, just that in that sense, that's when I knew I had to take it serious. But more so when I started working with celebrities and researching the things that I was researching, I knew that I had to be really on my shit. Like that's when I
yeah.
kind of really knew, like, for real.
Oh no, that makes sense. When I knew that it was time, when I knew I was gonna start taking this shit seriously, I was getting harassed by a lot of thought
Oh
forms.
wow.
Okay, um, they were very manipulative. They would put things into my head, and they would try to make me feel like I was a bad person. You know, the crazy part about it is I'm crazy. Like I'm not that normal kind of person. I'm not going to roll over and be like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna fucking give up. No, I
Right.
challenged them, because when they kept doing shit like that to me, when they kept putting these things into my head, trying to make it feel like I was a loser, trying to make me feel like I was crazy, or trying to make me feel like these things that I was experiencing had nothing to do with them and it had to do with me, that's when I was like, you know what? If I'm able to talk to you guys, that means that this is an ability. I'm just gonna say this is a fucking ability of mine. So boom, I wrote that down. If I'm able to feel you guys and you're able to project these thoughts into my head, that means that okay, I might be clairsentient. Like that means that I can feel
Mm-hmm.
spirits. Then I was like, you know what? If I'm getting thoughts put into my head and I can hear you guys clearly communicating to me in my head, that means that this is telepathy. Okay. And then I'm
Right.
like, I can sense your energy. I can hear these things. I'm writing all these things down. So when it came back time to them for them to come back, because they would come back not all the time, but they
Mm.
would pick certain times when I was feeling really down or I was really upset. That's when they'd come forward. And not, especially when I was by myself, I started
Mm.
to really self isolate and become very, very um, depressed and
Mm.
pessimistic. And one day I was just like, you know what? When they come back, I'm just gonna fucking talk to them. So they came back, and then I started to talk to them in my head, like, look, I know what you guys are. On top of that, I know what your energy feels like. And I also know that you guys can speak to me telepathically. That's how you guys are talking to me in my head. And they got pissed. So they
Mm.
started trying to make shit happen to my family because they couldn't do anything to me because I was finding out what was going on with them. Okay.
Right.
So then I was like, you know what? They're going to go after my family. So I have to stay calm. I literally had to learn anger management through my guides because
Right.
I would get so fucking pissed off from everything that would happen. And every time I would get mad, things would get worse. They would get more
Mm.
powerful. As first, it started off as two of them, and then it became five, and then it became like 10 and 20. And I would say that this has a lot to do with the shadow realm because they were like shadow spirits
Yeah.
that used to stand in my room and stand around me or try to feed on my energy. Okay. And then it got to the point where I started to actually be able to really sense my guides because my guides were only a voice in my head that would tell me the right from wrong when I was doing something wrong. So I became that friend that was called like grandpa because I was way ahead of
Yeah.
my years, you
Same.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would reject anything that
Old
was
soul.
stupid. Yeah, I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
do anything stupid. I wouldn't want to go break into somebody's house or go hit a lick. I wouldn't want to go rob anybody. I didn't want to go do any of that stuff. I didn't want to go drink or go to a party, especially if I heard that voice in my head telling me,
Yeah.
don't go there. Something bad is going to happen. And then something bad happens when I don't go, or I need to get up and I need to leave. So that developed over time. And it got to that point where when I was getting into it a lot with these spirits, my guides started coming forward and I was able to actually sense them. Okay. And then this led up to me finding this meditation where I opened my third eye. And that's when I knew that I was not about to turn back. And
Yeah.
I was also rapping at the time. Like I was a rapper at the time. My music career was kind of just starting and we were starting to have shows. We were starting to do a lot of stuff. And we were leaving the city, getting booked for different places, things like that. It was pretty good. But I had to come to that decision on whether or not I was going to continue my training for my abilities or I was going to focus on my music. Like
Yeah.
I had literally gotten an ultimatum. That's when I knew that I was going to be taking this path seriously. So literally, I quit doing music altogether to really pursue this path. And I went through the craziest shit, but I learned exactly what I needed to learn, and that's how I'm here today. You know, that's how my life is the way that it
Epic.
is because I gave my fucking life to this path.
Mm. That's epic, man. Like for real. Just to hear, you know, a lot of, you know, even coming across your videos, like a lot of the things that I probably didn't have the words to. It's like your experiences was like those, you know, keys and though that information to like explain what it was. And it's so funny because I had made a video. Well, I was live the other day and somebody screen recorded it. And I was telling people like, don't stop doing what you're doing because you never know like who you have an effect on. And this person, they was going through like just a lot. But to connect that with this is like knowing you have to keep going because when you get to that level, now you know that you are an influencer and it's people that's actually watching and gravitating to what you're doing and using those experiences and sharing them to help other people. And I think that a lot of times, and I don't even know how did I just jump from that to that, but sometimes
Oh
the
no,
spirit
that's
just moves
okay.
me to say messages to
Do your
people because
thing,
it was
man.
something that we spoke about, you know.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Sometimes when people get to, and that's why I appreciate this platform because sometimes when people get to those levels, they forget about why they originally started to do this. You know, never lose that spirit that you have. You didn't have to extend the olive branch of a brotherhood and share what you know to me and didn't know me, and it connected. So I appreciate that, and things happen for a reason. Sometimes, like in the midst of you coming into my existence, I was really depressed. It goes back. I'm just piggybacking off of the things in at another stage of when I knew I had to take it serious, when I felt like I had all this information and I was getting depressed because I didn't know what to do with it, and getting discouraged with meditating and feeling like why it's not happening and stuff like that. But your videos and others to ignite that black flame to just like,
Yeah.
it helps.
Yeah.
But,
Man, I
yeah,
talking about frustration, man. I remember,
yeah.
okay. One thing that frustrated me the most that I have not even really talked about. When I was first starting off in on this path before I could even hear any of those beings, anything like that, before I started getting harassed by anything, I was literally studying telekinesis, okay? And that was the hardest thing that I've ever fucking done.
Mm,
All right. So literally when I first started, I made a PSI wheel. I made the little fucking the foil wheel with the kind of like small little
mm,
pyramid piece of foil square. I measured it out and everything. I took a needle and just stuck that shit in an eraser. I balanced it, and literally I was sitting there for like 2 days,
mm,
no results. Literally those 2 days turned into 2 weeks, no fucking results. My guides were telling me, look, just keep going. We're proud of you. But they weren't telling me anything or what to do. They just told me to keep going. And like 4 months, like not even 4 months, what am I talking about? 4 weeks in,
mm,
and I was able to push and pull. I established that ability to push and pull with the PSI wheel. So it was like, what the hell? So I started getting really good at it. And then I started getting to the point where I could start moving other things. So I started using my crystals and trying to move them with my energy. That's when I discovered chi balls. And that's
mm,
when I started to practice with one of my friends with telepathy. It was a joke at first, but it was a joke. We were joking because we found a video on YouTube and we were just like, you know what? We're gonna try this shit out. So we started making these chi balls, and this lady was like, I'm gonna send this message to Selene. So we're like making these chi balls, and all of a sudden, we're like, Selene, blah, blah, blah. But the crazy part about that was when we made this shit, we
mm,
actually were able to hear our thoughts coming forward, like to each other. So we were literally just texting each other, and we could hear each other's thoughts. We got to the
mm,
point where we started being able to hear each other's thoughts. First, it started off as joking, but then it became serious because we started really practicing every
mm,
fucking day. And then as we started practicing more and more with it, we started
mm,
changing the energies and trying to put energies into it to designate it for specific things. And we realized that we had established the ability to manipulate our emotions, but not only that, but we were able to manipulate the reality around us with these chi
wow.
balls. So we got to that point where we were able to send something to one another and then charge each other with luck, or we were able to send
Mm,
something to each other and start making ourselves just feel really fucking happy if we were feeling depressed. Or we would be like, you know what? I want this person to call me. Boom, put
mm,
that energy in there, conjure that shit up, and just send it off to the person that we wanted to call us, and that person calls us in 10 minutes. So it was just like we started building up on that. That's
yeah.
when it started becoming very real for me. It was very frustrating in the beginning of this path because I did not know how to visualize. I did not know how to fucking meditate. I didn't know what was what. I didn't know what the aura meanings were. I didn't know anything, dude. I was only 15, 16 when I first started off with all of this,
Mm,
when I first really started taking it seriously. And it was frustrating every day because I had no one to help me. I only
mm,
had my guides, and my guides did not want to tell me anything. They were so disciplinary. Only thing that they told me was to hide my stuff. Don't show your crystals. Don't show your books. Don't show what you were writing about. Don't show this. Don't show that. The experiences that you're having, you can talk about some of them, but you can't talk about all of them because there's some things that are not meant to be revealed. That's what my guides
mm.
were telling me. Fast forward,
That
and I
was
didn't listen
another
to a lot of what they were saying. Mm-hmm.
that was
Okay.
another frustration thing. Because when you grow a field of doing it mentally, and then you come into everything of this is how it's supposed to be, and it kind of goes back to like when I was researching and I seen different people talk about, well, you this how you work with the Goetia. Then it was other people that, and it goes back to the black and white thing. It was, they put that in, see how everything's it connects, you know, because,
Of
and I don't
course.
know if that's good to say, but you know, they were saying, oh, you don't need all of those other twos to contact them. So it gives a frustration because you think you doing it, but then they saying this is the way you're supposed to do it, and that brings a big frustration too. Because if I'm seeing things by me just mentally visualizing it and it's happening, and then now they saying that could bring a lot of frustration too. Visualization was something that I always kind of had a really uh, 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 a strong imagination when it
Hmm.
came to that. Like I would be young and visualizing a whole different world before I went to sleep and go into that world, like dreams and stuff. That was something that made me get serious too because I dream every night and it's so intense that I knew it was so much more to wake up and carry those dreams from the dream world to this existence and still feel like that. And then it's this longing feeling something wasn't right. So that kind of like stirred me to figure out, you know, and take it more serious as well, you know.
Yeah. Hell yeah. What's the craziest fucking experience that you've had on this path by far?
Oh, that's a really good question. The first experience I will probably have to say when it all first started when I was Charles Miller the third. Uh, I was at the house out in Long Island, and when I first walked, this person is a hoarder. So already, you know, I came there with my friends. You know, they was interested. You know, one of the people that have all exotic weeds and you hang out or this and that. So
Yeah.
when I met them, we clicked off of metaphysics. Like, you
Yes.
know, our friendship was different from everybody else's. Even though everybody was there for the party, I was there for the knowledge, and they seen that. So when I went there, the person had like this really, one of my friends, they had this really bad like thing in their neck. Every time I talk about the story, it gave me goosebumps because this is when I first believed in seeing magic really manifest in front of my eyes. The
Yeah.
person had this like thing in their neck, and they said they took their thumb and they rubbed something like this. It'd be making my eyes tear when I talk about this because it made me. I slept with a light for like 2 months. I couldn't sleep with a light because this person tricked my mind. So they said
Oh
they went like
shit.
this. They rubbed the thumb down a certain part of the neck. The person
Hmm.
had one of those crooks that was like this, so they couldn't move it. So they had their hand on my shoulder and they was making this straining noise like, mm, and I was my mind already thinking outside of on a magic level. I don't know
Yeah.
why. So I'm thinking like this motherfucker probably doing some shit. Like, you know, he doing something. So he said, do it now. Like, so now I went like this, and then the person next started to just come up. And then like because it was a 3 series of events that happened to make me know that whatever straining noise that they was doing, they was ciphering. That's the word. Energy from like how do I explain it? They were ciphering energy from them to me to the person to push it through to teach me how to. I don't know how
Yeah.
to explain it, but
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
they was trying to light the lighter because it's series of events that's leading up to the big illusion that they
Yeah.
pulled.
Hmm.
This was when I first learned telepathy. They they tried to light the lighter and they couldn't light. They it couldn't light. They put in they foot down like I'm trying to light it, and I hear them tapping their foot down, and they making that straining noise like. And I'm looking like in my mind, I'm like, is this weird? Like, is this a connection? So when they lift their foot up, and I look lighter, the lighter magically just lit. So when he fell over, like bent over, and the pants crack came down, and we was laughing, and he said, "Now it's the same." So when he said that, the person started to try to talk, and they couldn't talk. It was like gibberish. I started to talk, and it was stuttering, and he said, "Now it's the same." So instantly in my head, I'm thinking, he said, "Now it's the same because we did a trick on him and he got us back." Keep in mind, he's a Gemini. That's what makes this whole thing weird. And you know, with the connection to that,
Yeah.
he said, I said, in my head, I'm like, he's saying, now it's the same because we did something to him, and now he got us back. And out loud, he instantly said, "I opened the doors for you." Now it's getting intense because now he's starting to speak to me telepathically, and he's telling me of the perception of my friends that's right there. So now the friends think that we crazy because I'm answering words from his sentences that he's placing in my mind, and he's doing the same thing, and it's ciphering. And he said, "I opened the doors for you," and the person thought we was crazy, and that was the first time when I seen telepathy and experienced it, and it was so strong. And then to see him go into a 7-Eleven and made the man give him everything that he put on the counter and walk right out as if nothing was never happened. Like I've seen, he has books out, his experiences in Liberia and Mali, when he talks about his initiation into these secret societies and things.
Man,
it's a lot.
Man,
I'm doing a documentary of talking about people that got initiated to certain societies, and I have little segments of their experience. So as I experience going through different shelters and stuff, my journey to living in my own, I ran across people who was in organizations and things like that, and they shared their experience. So I have audios of different things. So I'll really be looking forward to that because it all plays a big part of when it became real to me. A lot of people wanted to make me feel crazy or shun me because they didn't want me to know what I knew or feel. I experienced being a popular person my whole life. People who seen that and they don't want me to feel that, so they try to strip away that. I've always been with that. So to come into certain information, it kind of inspired me to want to learn more about psychic defense and stuff, because I knew that this is a real thing. Because I was studying what I was, it was other things that was looking. So I just had to become aware of certain things, and my conversation is scattered. So I'm a scattered person. I can jump from everywhere, but the spirit leads me to say what it needs to say.
It's not really scattered though. It's actually quite organized, and the way that you're doing it is very organized. You're going about it in a very organized, kind of exquisite fashion. So that's why I'm just because I follow you. I comprehend, bro. We fucking click. So I understand. Even things that you don't say, I can hear that shit too. We always communicate like that. Even down to when I'm not even on calls with you, we have that connection. Absolutely. And when I first did that, when I first got onto my first video call with you, that's when I knew that we were going to be friends. And then all I could hear is one of my spirits telling me, this guy is going to be one of the ones that you're going to connect to strongly. And I was like, all right, I just want to make sure that I'm professional right now so I can get this dude the service that he ordered. But I couldn't help but just see further into it. It was even remember what I started saying? Because it was stuff that you didn't even ask me. And I was just like, what's going on with this and this and this? Because I just felt like I needed to tell you that shit. I felt that pull. It was like this strong pull to lift you up. I felt like it was that time to just start fucking lifting you up, to build you up, to get you to where you need to be. It felt very much so necessary at that fucking moment.
I appreciate
that. Here we are.
Yeah, it's funny. It's so funny because that moment was the catalyst of watching your videos to getting to. I was looking for a lot of information that you have on your channel for years, and you was not magically on. So it's like you just popped up at the right time, and it was so weird because I was my spirits was battling who did I was supposed to go to get service from. But I knew where I was supposed to go, but I felt like I had to learn a lesson or a mistake that needed to be done for me to get to the seriousness, because it was still something that I had to learn. And then running into the videos, it was this is the person. Instantly when I seen your videos, I was I feel like I know this guy. It was he did not sugarcoat. Like I said, and it's not to say throw bad vibes out there, but and I said this, you give the information like it is. You're not chasing people to chase the information. And that's why, real see real. You was very upfront, even with the reading, it was things you just knew. it was accurate. The energy, it was like what I needed to know. I didn't even feel like I had to really ask because it was already being told to me. And I feel like after I knew what you told to me, it was like, okay, this is this, and it set a different type of energy to my life, a restart again to like back to taking how when I know it was serious. Because I always say each month or each couple of months, we go through these things where when we awakening or things like that, however you want to say, we kind of drift away. And this was like another alarm, like get back to where you need to go. He has this knowledge that you was waiting for, and now it's here. And that's when it was like more serious again. Like even each day, waking up knowing daily things I have to do and staying consistent, it takes a lot of willpower because those thoughts that try to distract you to make you do other things and controlling and understanding and like, hey, it's my mind, so.
And it's crazy, you guys, because this dude is so well connected. Like he's so connected that I don't remember when it was. It was probably like the first time. No, it was the second time because I had introduced him to my girl. Because like I was like, we all have to meet. We all have to talk.
And speaking of that, excited, so how we ran into each other too. I won't mention that, but I'm gonna let you go. My bad.
Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, we get on this video and everything, and all of a sudden it's like when we all three connected, there was just this energy that just came over me, like this energy that came over me that let me know like this really was that sign that showed me that he was fucking legit, because he hadn't even told me about spirits that were around him yet, like I was just seeing stuff that was around him. I hadn't even really got to really experience what it was, but that night when we got on the video, I literally started to get possessed. I started hearing all of these drums that I wasn't hearing before. I started to hear all of this shit. I'm seeing all these colors around him. We're seeing all these colors around each other. I feel like I'm about to cry, like I was feeling like crying when we were just doing this video. So we're all just vibing and I'm just like, damn, this is crazy. And he just starts naming off spirits that like might want to work with me, that have to do with the Orishas, that come from Santeria. So I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm hearing this. He's like, that's what this is. That's this and this and this. This dude is so legit. That's the reason why I was like, you know what? I need to make sure that he gets out there because he's fucking legit. He told me exactly what it was that I was experiencing. He was like, you're going to start experiencing this. You're going to start feeling like this. But yes, we definitely had run-ins before. He had been commenting on my videos. He also had even talked to my girl before, which was very interesting because we didn't even piece that together until after the fact that we were on that.
That was the funny part when she got in the car. I said, "Oh, I know you." It was funny because like she had made a video on Beam, and when I seen it, that's when I was like really trying to get more information because the lady that I went to, I'm not even gonna say it. I just felt like I needed more information, and the way even though I still got it, but then I was like, I gotta go to him. I because I knew that like I felt like I swear to you before we did the reading, my spirit said you guys are gonna be friends. Then I said that I was sitting there right here, and it said that because that's when I was getting everything together. So I was so nervous because I was watching your videos that the serious thing, and I was like, yeah, I gotta be up front with him because this dude looked like he just ripped your neck off. Like, because it was like, even though you was like, you get that thing, you still get this vibe from you. Like, it's militant. Like, you come with an army. You feel that. You feel the presence of. I watched you, like, I don't know how long your video's been out, but I watched you grow. Like, now, like, it's like you literally physically changed. It was like, it's like shells and layers is ripped off. Like, it's like a mature look that's grown, but yet it's still like it's anti-aging. Like, if that makes sense. It's weird. Like, and
that makes sense.
It's just crazy to see the transformation. Like, you really is you. And then I was always told, go to people that you can see things happen in their life, and I've seen it, and it had to take that for me to see. I'm like, okay, I see that he knows exact. I felt it more so. It was like, he has that information. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, bro. And I just feel like I I'm not even gonna lie. I find myself watching my own videos almost as if I'm in a possessed state, just watching myself on the videos. Because I know that when I'm making a video, whenever I get in front of the camera,
Yeah.
for some reason, something it's like my higher self just steps in. Like he'll come in, or Anubis will step in, and they just completely take over, or
Yeah.
whatever spirit I'm channeling at the time. And I'll rewatch the videos because I don't watch them myself. I'll edit them and everything, but I don't really get to fully get that real experience until I'm done editing.
Mm.
So I literally go back and I watch my own videos, and I learn from myself. It's like the information that is on those videos is not even it's not even it's not even within me, you know. So I have to
Mm.
go back and learn from myself, like going into the past, because I have stuff out there that I'm like, damn, I didn't even remember I put that out there. I didn't even remember that I said that, and I piece things together while I'm looking at myself because I
Mm.
watch myself shift and change. I instill specific messages in the videos while
Mm.
I'm recording them. That's what happens. That's what my higher self tends to do. He'll put messages in that are subliminal for anybody that is ready to receive that information, and it'll pull it forward for them to receive whatever it is that they're needing to receive at that time. And I
Mm.
do this shit often, and I'm just like yesterday, I was sitting there watching my video, that I recently made for VKG Hanum, right? And I was just sitting here like, what the fuck? Like, I'm listening to everything that I'm saying, but I'm just like, this is a trip because I hadn't even pieced together the fact that this stuff was coming forward so quickly. Even to the point where I've rewatched my clip off videos, I'm just like, this stuff has just came full circle. And then I took it, I took it upon myself to go further back to my older videos, like the really old ones where I was talking about astral projection and things of that sort. And I compared
Mm.
myself to now. And I compared myself to where I was. And literally within a year of what I have been doing, it shifted to the point where I see that success. I see everything
Mm.
playing out that I have been dedicating myself to. So
Mm.
exactly, bro. Like I practice this shit every day. I study every day. I do my meditations every day. And sometimes I'll get up at 3 in the fucking morning, even if I feel like I'm super tired. I have to do my meditations. I have to do what it takes. You know what I'm saying? Because I dedicated my life to this path. I gave my fucking self to this path. This is who I am. So this is what's
Mm.
necessary. And that's the reason why I've transformed so fucking quickly, because I put my mind and my all into it to make sure that whoever's coming to me, whatever they need, that I can provide it, but with real experience, not from some research bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't
Mm.
research shit when it comes down to what I'm doing. I'll research things a little bit, but that's just to get a feel for what I could potentially experience. But
Mm.
only on my experience and my gnosis will I post something. You have never seen me post a video about any spirit that I have not experienced, because I won't. Or anything, as I don't like doing that. I like making it as authentic as possible, because I like to show people that this shit is real. I like to prove to the skeptics and the people who are maybe like on the fence about this shit that it's real. Coming from someone who is a
Mm.
skeptic, coming from someone who does question and try to debunk every single fucking thing, because I'm everywhere, but I'm always in my center.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
hmm I just like to keep it real. I don't have any time to fake. And why the fuck would I
Yeah.
fake when I want to see people succeed? Anybody that's coming to me that's watching my content, that's doing anything, I want them to be fucking successful. Especially if there's people who are coming to me to get a pack done. That's some serious shit. So when they do that, I'm
Right.
like, look, make sure that you really dedicate yourself to this. Even if you can't communicate with the spirit yet, even if you feel like you can't do that, you need to just consistently do it. Because I tell you right now, for myself, when I first made my pact with King Pyman, I was like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. But then he started doing shit. Like he started doing shit for me. He started making shit happen. I started to see these things in my dreams. He started to teach me about reading tarot cards better. He started reading me and giving me financial readings. He started revealing to me things that were going to happen in my future. And then that's when I was able to really feel like I could trust him. No matter what other people had told me, I knew what I was experiencing with King Pyman.
Mm.
That's when I knew that we had that bond. And then I moved down that line, and I fucking went and I met with Bune. And when I met with Bune, that's when I fucking knew that I had really done shit the right way. because I landed my ability to have a place to stay, my first place to stay at that. But with doing shit on my own, with finding my own money to make this shit happen, with having my girl be able to do this shit with me to where she can witness the transformation as well, and proving to her that I could do it. Not only proving to myself, but proving to her that I could do it. Because we had this talk and we were like, okay, if I can do this, if you can do this, then you can work from home. But if not, then you got to make some shit happen. You got to get out there. You got to find a job. And I was like, I want to fucking work from home. And boom, ever since then, it's been continuously flowing because I've been putting my all into this shit.
That's crazy.
And that's what I see in you.
I appreciate that, man, because I feel like that's all I have, like, to just keep going with it, you know, like the research and the music is really like all I have, and I try to do as much to put, you know, my hardest energy into everything that I do, you know. It's just,
yeah, exactly.
You gotta want it more than anybody else, and that's what I'm seeing. Like, you know, a lot before I used to think that it was just gonna happen because I knew about manifesting, like it was just gonna magically happen.
Yeah.
And you know, over the years, I had to understand, like, you write and you keep writing, and you keep building and perfecting yourself. And I feel like that's why it makes sense, you know, at this time,
Yeah, exactly.
I just feel like, you know, I feel that in life, you always going to be discouraged by something or think that it's not working, and then boom, it's just like, and that's how I feel, you know, just with a lot of things. Sometimes we're meditating and stuff, you know, you feel like it's, you just, you know, and then boom, you just get to that space that you want to. You know,
exactly.
I notice that when
That's
I meditate, sometimes I always get discouraged. And then as I like just, you know, pay attention, I get to that space, whatever that frequency is. I call it a sound room because it's a frequency of sounds and colors. And you know when you get it into that space. And that's when it makes you feel accomplished when you know, each day I tell my friends, you know, try to meditate 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day until you could get to a place where it's comfortable enough to where you're like, okay, I got something out of it. You know,
because you
just got to keep people. And that's why your videos is installing that drive to wanting to be more able to recall information like that. And, you know, it's
exactly. Because I want to show you that if I can do it, then you can fucking do it. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to reciprocate here. Everybody that watches this stuff, if there's anything that you take from this, is the fact that if I can fucking do it, then you can do it. But it's going to take you to put in that work, though. It's going to take y'all to put that work in. It's going to take you to put the work in. Even for what Juju's saying, like, when it comes down to his work with his music, for him to be able to work with celebrities, he put in fucking work. He put in work to be able to write for them. He put in work. He put his all into it to be able to make that shit happen. He didn't stop believing in his dream. He kept going. That's how you make it work.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It took me to attach from everything. Like, and people don't get that. Like, that's why I feel like the path was already called for me because I'm someone who already lives in quarantine. So it took isolation. Yeah, it took isolation to study, you know, writing or studying what I'm learning and trying to write differently. It took a lot, and it still takes a lot to try to write a better verse than the last verse. You know, I'm a person who thinks, so I'm always thinking of what's the next weirdest line that people are like, what the hell did that come from? You know, it's like I'm that type of person. So it takes a lot of you separating from people or detaching from listening to music to get your own thing. And I always encourage artists, it's okay to be inspired by people, but it means more when you can pull something from yourself. Even if you're connecting to what they're doing, if you can make that your own and give your own message, that's another thing. Always have a message. I don't care if you're talking about shooting, whatever you talk about, have a message. Somehow I could talk about crazy things, robbery, shooting, but those things I'm talking about for people that I may not like. So I don't just say it just to say it, you know, but I always have a message telling people don't fuck with me. You know, it's just things, you know. It's just, you know, have a message. Like, you know, you gotta have a message. Some people, like, whenever somebody comes into my existence, whoever comes around my life, over the years, I built up this thing where people say, you make me think about life in a whole different way. That's my purpose, to spark something,
Yeah.
whatever's in you, I see that's there, to spark it and bring it out of you. That's why my goal is for, and I'm gonna put that out there for any artist that's out there who, discouraged or, have problems with writing songs. I like to help people. My goal is to build my own artists and to help
You
them
can
with
consult
ideas and
him.
stuff.
You
And
can
for real, I
consult
had to
him.
put that out
He's a
there.
genius.
For real. I want to
He's a
build, help
genius when it
someone
comes down to this stuff.
create, create their dream. It's people who don't know how to articulate that. I feel like, just always surround yourself around people that want to see you do good. Because I've been through situations and people don't want to see me do good. I've been through situations where my potential makes people want to keep me back. So you got to keep pushing, no matter who you are around, and always see yourself worthy as these people. Don't ever, no matter how what platform you give to them, you on that same platform because you was called for a reason. Don't ever let yourself feel like you got to worship people to bring your financial success. Know that you are the abundance. You are the currency. People got to realize that, because they get caught up in worshiping people who is on the same level as them. Like, you got to realize that you are the gift too. Like, people don't see that. It took me a long time to actually realize that, not that I had the gift, but to realize that I had a gift that people wanted.
Yes.
It's a difference. Everybody can have a gift, but it's a gift, a trait that people want, that they need. It's crazy. Like, I got a lot of stories for days about that, but I'm still learning. I'm still at the beginning stage, and I feel like just coming into all of this is all going to help everything. Being structured at an early age to dodge the bullets. I say,
Yeah, no,
So,
shit. Trust me. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know that
yeah,
has a double meaning too. I know exactly what you're talking about, bro. Because
yeah.
growing up in California, especially in Fresno, I can
And we
relate because I had
hear
to
that's
learn to
crazy
dodge the
how
bullet a lot.
you read under the whole underlying tone, and it's the telepathy that is crazy,
Exactly.
because that needs to be heard for people that may be experiencing the things that I'm going through. I'm trying to
Yeah.
stop people from making wrong decisions. I wasn't always too equipped about my publishers and stuff like that. It took me to go through one fall to realize how I can't go through many other falls after that, to come into people and get information on how to move around the right way and get established as a songwriter, to see royalties and things, because you were around vampires. That's why I created the song Vampires in Brooklyn. It
So
makes
I have
all
a
his
question.
line. Yeah.
I got a question for you. When are we about to see the Master Songwriters course? When are we about to see the when are we about to see that master course? Because I know it's probably in the works that you're gonna create one, and if not,
Yeah.
I think that you should. Because there's a lot of musicians that approach me that ask me a ton of questions that I don't really have experience with. I don't have experience with a lot of stuff like that because I don't do music like that. I don't take it that serious. So I personally feel like that this is your path. This is a lot of what you're super good at. I know you could be great at putting something together for those musicians that want that, especially when it comes down to working with demons. I feel
Right.
like that's something that could be real good for you, real good.
It's
I don't know.
so
I'm just throwing
crazy
that
you
out there.
say that. It's so crazy because someone yesterday asked me to be their manager, and I had to stop. And I looked, and I was like, "Me?" Like, it made me like, yeah. Like, and they've been asking this for a minute, but I always thought that she just troll like that, and she has a large fan base on Instagram, probably like over 30K followers. And I just like, me, you got all these, you can have access to everything. It made me like, it's a line, it's coming. Everything is coming aligning, because that's my whole goal, to make my own artists and build them, give them their concepts. And I have so
You could
many
easily do it.
ideas that it's too much for me. I want to brand it into people because everybody don't
You could
have that.
easily do it.
Yeah,
You could
it's
easily
going to
do
be
it,
done.
man. Like it don't
We
take a
talking
lot for
about it.
real.
It's already done, and the Astro
Exactly.
is done.
Exactly. And when it comes down to this stuff, especially when you're in a pact, this is what I want to let people know too. The pact, when you make a pact and you're working with spirits and you're looking for shit to start happening, don't look for shit to start happening. Start acting upon what it is that you asked for. That's what I
Mm,
learned. What you asked of, if you made a pact for money, start acting on things that make you have money, okay? That make you feel like you are abundant. Start doing things and planning in for the future, and that shit's gonna start flowing to you. This is what I
yeah,
learned with working with Bune. I started to learn that when I reached out for stuff that I wanted, I was gonna get it. And I started to receive it, and it got me to the point where I don't worry anymore. I don't have a single fucking worry because I know that if I'm continuing on and doing this shit, that it's going to continuously keep happening because I'm going to make that shit happen because I'm
that's
focused.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
when you have that drive and you doing everything that you do and that you need to do, it's going to work. And I have another one too that I want to talk about with Berith. If there's anyone that works with Val Berith, okay, you have to understand with him, he's not just going to teach you magic. He's going to show you how to fucking really master it. And he's not going to just drop that stuff on you. He's going to introduce you to people who can show you that. He's going to give you opportunities of people that can show you that shit. A lot of these spirits that you'll work with will introduce you to opportunities. Okay, that's what people need to understand. You're going to get opportunity, just like with spells.
Mm.
Opportunity is going to come forward. With luck, opportunity is going to come forward. You're going to be presented with the ability to have the opportunity to be in the faces of people that you want to be around, especially when you're moving towards that, when you have that focus on exactly what it is that you want. But I'm telling you, it's one thing to have the board. It's a whole nother thing to be acting on everything that's on that board. Because you can have stuff that is small that you can build upon to have that
Mm.
foundation. That's what I like to focus on. Having a foundation, because when you have that, it only fucking goes up. It only continuously goes up from there because you already have a ground level. You have a ground level. You have structure so you can build your house.
It's crazy to piggyback off of that. Yesterday I was writing after I did my meditation, and I heard, King Pyman say, "Keep writing. What are you stopping for?" It's funny because I felt like, okay, I have all of this stuff. What next? But I was like, it's not done writing, and it just that urge to want to write to perfect myself, and that's what the thing. You can't just expect something to be given without doing it. Like I can't, even though I've been writing, I can't expect more if I'm not writing more. Like just because
Mm-hmm.
I finish have projects that's done don't mean is done for me writing. Like every day I wake
Exactly.
up, I write throughout the day, all day, night, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. That's my hours. I write into 7 o'clock. I don't really sleep that much, but I do. But everything is based off of music. That I live
Mm-hmm.
and eat and breathe the music. That's it. Like, so just to piggyback off of that, like when you said it's not going
Hell
to
yeah.
just be given. Like, it took me time for the spirits at the early age that I didn't even know that I was working with to actually influence the creativity to get to a
Mm-hmm.
point where I'm endlessly creating like that now. It took
Hell
some
yeah.
time.
Hell yeah. It definitely does take time. I got another question. All right. So for anybody that's new on the path of Santeria, what messages do you have for them? And also, what do you recommend that they do?
Well, first I would tell them to do as much research about the history, how did it came about, and study all the Orishas. I would tell them to start with Elegua, because he's the one that you start with when you're a beginner, not beginner, just period. You have to go through Elegua because he's between the physical and the non-physical, and he gives the message to the other Orishas that allows the communication with you and them. So I would tell them to start with him first. I would say do as much research on them. How do you tend to them? How do you communicate? How do you feed them? You give your
Mm-hmm.
libations.
Mm-hmm.
That's a core to me. Like, and I would tell them to get a reading from people who specializes in it or that would know who governs their head so they could know what Orishas to actually work with to get them
Okay.
to where they need to go because you want to know what Orisha governs their head. You want to know so you can
Okay.
start working and building that connection with that Orisha. So
Okay.
that
Is that
that's like
hard?
I don't want to say it's hard, but it's just like anything else. You have to keep building that bond with them, because when I first started working with Ogun, you know, it's so crazy because I instantly knew that Ogun, he already governed my militant spirit. You know, when I went through my process with my spiritual godmother, instantly we was walking through the park, and it was a man. So crazy how, you know, cops is affiliated with Ogun, and the park is like this, and we walking, and it was this man. He was trying to rob us, and he magically came out of nowhere, and he was walking to us like this, and the cops came and cut him off, and they locked him up. And me and her was sitting there, and I instantly cried. And she said that was Ogun. You know, after we went right to the crossroads and everything, it was crazy. I knew he would, after that day when I went to do my spiritual bath and all of that, his presence was just, it was around me. No one fucked with me. Ogun keep people away from me. They don't. It was this presence of safety, you know. And even another thing, when you asking the Orishas and whatever request petitioning, always remember to thank them. Like, always remember to pray for things that's just not material things. Because I started praying in the beginning. I wanted things and material stuff, and then I remember my prayers changed, and I started praying for clarity. I started praying like with things that was different, and I knew, because it changed. You know, you get a different sense, like, because I know these things is going to happen now. I need to pray for a better peace of mind. I need to pray. I started to pray. My spiritual godmother started to teach me to really. She changed the way I thought. Like, she changed the way that, like, I seen the encounters with the spirits physically, how they run into you. She showed me to keep an open mind, that the spirits work through everybody. You never know who's. So much that she taught me that, like, you know, when I did my offerings to Oshun, and Oshun came down, and I remember that the connection of, after Oshun let me know she was there, the communication afterwards, when I would give my libations and stuff, all of that stuff to them, and see the consistency of things aligning. I believe when I started work with Oshun, that's when the opportunity with the Kanye West and stuff are coming about. I started to gradually see how people either, like, and we drift. The whole thing it goes back to consistency. I drifted from, really consistently working with my Orishas when things happened, when I lost my spiritual godmother, and then I branched into other things, but yet I still will connect with them mentally. Like, and we build the consistency to things. That's to say that, sometimes we get distracted, but to know that I still have that personal link with them. And it goes back to what we talked about when we first started off. Do things have to be a certain way? Sometimes a candle could just be a candle. Sometimes a candle could be needed to do the things. Sometimes all it takes is the mental. These things doesn't define if it's going to happen or not. People have to realize that.
That's right.
It's things that I watch people get initiated for, and my mind mentally manifested it. It's things that I seen people go get work for, to do things that I surpassed people within 1 year that's still doing music. And not to say it like that, but I've seen my mind manifest an artist who I work with now. Before I worked with this artist, I had a dream about her. And the dream that I had about her, some months back, Childish Gambino put out a cartoon series. This same artist was in a tree, like in my dream, in the video. So it shows you the mind to really connect with it. If you can connect with your mind in a sense, and utilize that pain, that emotion, on that desire, you're a winner. And I feel like even still, I'm learning to utilize and work and build my mental abilities to get stronger, just
Yeah,
because I know that now is real because the things that I ask or want, desire or need is slowly happening and gradually building up faster too. But
exactly.
it's slowly happening to build patience. People got to realize that patience is needed for everything because I didn't used to have patience, and all of this is teaching me patience. Give time to the things, like, sometimes we give time to watch a video that don't have no meaning than a video that has meaning, like I was saying the other
Exactly.
day. So,
Yeah, I feel that. So it's already like an hour and 6 minutes. This was a
oh shit,
dope
yeah,
ass interview. We're
yeah,
gonna do way more in the future. I'm probably gonna definitely have you on here. I'm gonna let you get this link so you can put it onto whatever social media platforms you want
okay,
and just share this shit. Like, get yourself out there. I'm gonna put you on my
okay,
channel too. I'm gonna also put you on my Facebook. I'm gonna put you on Insta. I'm gonna put
dope.
you
I
on every
appreciate
platform that
that.
I have for
I
social media.
appreciate that.
Hell yeah. And I wanted to say, where can people find you? But before I say that, what kind of style, what type of reader are you? What do you specialize in for when it comes down to your readings?
You know what's so funny about that? I don't even really feel like I have a style because I don't need the cards to do the reading. I just feel like sometimes it gives me more detail,
Yes, it
So I
does.
do use the cards, but I just use a person's picture for the most part, and the spirits let me know what this person needs to perfect, what this person is hiding. It shows me what this person is trying to portray to the people. It shows me so much. So just a picture alone could just give the person the information that they need. However, I do use the cards and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah.
Okay, okay. Where can they find you? What social media platforms do you have for people to find you if they want to get a reading done, if they want to even come under you as like if they want you as a mentor for music even like if that's something that you're ready for, I
Absolutely.
would say you should. Like I'm gonna just throw that out there,
Absolutely.
hint hint.
Yeah. Excuse
But
me.
where can they find you?
On Instagram, you can find me at Galactic666, Galactic 666. On Facebook, you can find me at Juju Connor, JuJuKonor.
Hmm.
You can email me at jujuconnor@gmail.com for any questions or anything like that. I don't have Twitter or anything like that, so I just mainly use Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, cool. All right, and
It's so funny because my phone was on like 20% for so long, and is now is on 11%. That's so weird. For the
that
last since
is
we've been on, it's been down on like that a little bit. That's weird though.
that is weird, but hey, you're gonna have technology preservation for stuff that is important, and stuff that's
Absolutely.
meant to happen. And like, yo, the whole fucking time that we've been recording this, there's been no interference. And you know how much interference we have when we do
Yeah.
videos. In the beginning, I wanted to say, there was a part that got cut off because I asked you about what got you onto this path, and you started
Okay.
talking about somebody, and it froze in the beginning. So, and I don't really
Yeah,
remember
it did.
what was being said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like, but it was butchered. So, can you like bring that back up, like just a
Um,
part of the
I'm trying to.
who you got introduced to, or you
Oh,
probably
when I
said
was
it
talking
already.
about Charles Miller, was it or the lady? Was it the
Yeah,
so
Charles
Charles?
Miller. Before you talked about when you and your friends were around him though, and he identified what was going on. It was before that because it got cut off. I don't remember. It
Yeah, I
froze.
was talking about. I know I was talking about the lady who told me to read the card readings, Spike of the Mother
Yes,
Star. So
yes.
I met her through Facebook. I was going through a lot at the time, and I really wanted to know about my music. And she came about, and I booked the reading from her and got some services, a spiritual bath, and we spent the whole New Year's doing reading for a reading. And she was like, "You're a natural." She showed me how to like go into depth, and she was like, start going out and testing on people and like, really offering your services and start charging. At first I didn't want to charge because it felt really weird like that, but then I understand now how people could attach themselves to you because of those gifts and think that friends, they use the friend thing and it's draining.
To
But
use you, yeah.
yeah, I started to like speak to her a lot, and we started to build, and she started to teach me a lot about spiritual baths and making oils and stuff. And
Okay.
I'm not sure what the other part was because I would really wish I could hear what it was. Because even
I think that was
if
it.
okay, because even if it's not, then what we could have did is when you did go back and edit, and you knew, then I could have just like went like that
Yep.
too, or how?
It's
Yeah,
all good. It's all good.
yeah.
But yeah, man, this was a dope ass interview. It's gonna
Yes,
be
it
up.
really was.
It's gonna be up in a few hours because this is gonna take a minute to go to
So,
get put up on YouTube, but it will definitely be up. And I'm gonna make a post about it so that people can get hyped up. Where I like post it and then I say when it's gonna be uploaded, when it'll premiere, shit like that. After that, yeah, bro, I think you should start
oh,
taking the
another
meetings
thing
again.
is they can farm. I do have a YouTube
Uh-huh.
channel.
Yeah.
It's an old channel, but I do have people that are interested in the videos. I talk a lot about my encounters with reptilians up there and stuff like that. So
Okay.
you can find me on at Galactic Enterprise on YouTube. That's my name up there, Galactic Enterprise. I will be having more videos and stuff loaded. I'm just waiting for my new phone to come so I can have better quality to do like the videos and stuff like that. So I definitely be posting a lot of things and stuff to my channel. Just structure it more so.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, bro, this has been hella dope. A lot of the questions that I had, they were all answered. This was really good. It went on a lot longer, and it was naturally able to flow. So I really appreciate this, and
So no
this
problem.
is gonna be up real soon. As soon as I'm done recording this, actually, because I could
Mhm.
just stop it right now.
Okay.
You'll be able to actually just